What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Hit the join button and become a member. Why? Well, members get exclusive content. Hit the bell icon on my channel so that you'll receive a notification every time that I drop a video, and you can go and check the video out. Let's get into it. This dude Dubs then brought me back out of retirement. I'm just joking. I was never retired. Had to attend to a little business, but the big fella is back, stronger than ever. And there are a few things that I want to speak about that's been going on here on the internet. I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to say these people's names, but people are going to ask me eventually, well, who are you talking about? Say their name, if you're going to speak on it. And so, not to be confrontational, that will not be the reason that I say their names. It would be more because I don't want there to be any question as to who I'm referring to. And so I'm going to get into the peace talks, the so-called peace talks, peace walks that the Crips had there on the West Side a couple of weeks ago. Already did a video on it. Nina Boy from East Coast and Melvin Farmer. I don't even know where he's from. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I can research and find out where he's from. I guess maybe he has a YouTube channel or he's on YouTube often. Melvin Farmer, the old black dude. And he said he had something to say about the peace talks too. And we're going to get into it coming up in my next video. That will be today as well. Obviously, I'm behind. I have a lot of work to do, a lot of catching up to do. So I'm about to go pretty hard, I would say. And I'm not going to pull any punches. Here, I'm going to do a reaction to Dubs' video that Dubs did just a day or two ago, where Dubs got a hold of a video that this black dude here had done. And the black dude in his video, from my understanding, I watched some of the video. I watched most of the video, but I wasn't really into it like that. It had popped up on my feed, and I just was checking it out. But I didn't dive into it. Really, I'm going to get into it with you all. I'm going to watch it thoroughly with you all. From what I saw, from what I did see, Dubs didn't say anything wrong. He didn't say anything bad. People may take issue with him making a video, period, about blacks supposedly being afraid of Mexicans in prison. But as far as what he had to say, he was very cautious and very careful in his assessment. In fact, I heard him say multiple times, profusely even, I don't agree with that. No, blacks are not afraid of Mexicans in prison, because he's careful. He doesn't want to be called a racist. So he's being real careful. So I didn't see anything Dubs said wrong in the video, at least from what I had seen so far. This black dude, again, I guess he did 20 plus years in prison, in some federal prison out of state somewhere. I'm not sure. Let me find out. It's not in California. And the federal penitentiary and their politics are totally different than the politics here in California. And the state is very different and much more violent than the federal penitentiary. Here in California, we're not afraid of the Mexicans, in prison or outside of prison. There have been many wars, many gang wars on the street and inside of prison, in the county jail. I personally have brought you 50 videos or so, whatever. The blacks and the Mexicans are having riots in the Los Angeles County Jail. Ain't no blacks tucking their tail. Oftentimes, the blacks were the aggressors in these riots. I've been around blacks who did not really take to Mexicans. They didn't like them, and they wanted to kick something off with them. And blacks as well carry weapons. But let's get into it, because I'm not here to just, they said blacks are afraid. Oh, here come the big fella, about to say how big and strong black people are and they ain't afraid of nobody. You just had to come out. Nah, I'm just going to keep it real. If some people are afraid, I'll say so. But I don't want any misinformation being put out here. Where he's from, maybe that's how it is with him and his crew. But where I'm from, that's not how it is. We are unafraid of anyone. let's get into what happened here and what this dude had to say and what Dubs had to say. Let's check it out.
New video.
So, Dubs.
I was sent this clip. And this is a guy, I don't know what state he's in. I don't know what state he's from.
So, somebody sent Dubs the clip. They want to get some shit started. They want Dubs to react to a black dude saying that blacks are afraid of Mexicans in prison. Knowing already the reputation that Dubs has, where they feel like he sort of skirts the truth or stretches it. And as it relates to his people and their prowess and the ineptitude of other communities, the black community in particular. And so they send him a video and say, oh yeah, look, Dubs, a black dude saying blacks are afraid. Now it's a black dude saying it. You can do this video, can't nobody say nothing to you because it's a black dude saying it. But still, why? What's the, you trying to start some shit.
But he's going to explain that he's done over 20 years in the federal system. And he's going to give his point of view on dealing with Mexicans while incarcerated. I feel this is very interesting. And I'm sure people will be mad at me for what he said. But I'm going to react to it and let's get to it.
Now, me and some of the homies had a deep conversation. I said, man, only people that go against each other is the black gangs. Now, I can't speak what's going on the streets at the location, even in the joint. We only have problem with each other. We are afraid of the Latino and Mexican gangs. We can say what we want. There's going to be some dudes on here that don't argue all day long with me. But I was in the joint. I did almost 20 years straight in the feds.
So this is a very controversial thing. And those that want to be upset, don't be upset with me. I'm going to do my reaction to what he says. I'm going to be as unbiased as I always am. People feel I'm biased. Some people, and I feel like the people that feel I'm biased are just people that don't like me. And no matter what I did, I would be biased, right? But again, this man is speaking from 20 years of experience in the federal system. I was never in the federal system. But he's going to say some things that are key. And that's where I'm going to focus some energy on.
And that goes from the penitentiary to the medium highs. And one thing about it, when the MAs come, the Mexicans come, the brothers try to get out of the way. You only have so many brothers that would go hard. First thing they going to say, man, I'm trying to go home, man. I ain't trying to get caught up in that. You only got so many riding and dying, and I'm the one that may be doing natural life.
No other state is like Nevada. I'm Nevada's Secretary of State, Cisco Aguilar, and my office.
But the MAs, we are scared of them. We are afraid of all the Mexicans.
And I'm going to talk about, that's what I want to talk about right there. I did a video about this, not black fear, but why I believe Southern raza and then raza period are more dominant in prison in California in the state system. Okay. And Cartoon 5 Trey, he did a response video and he never said blacks are scared. I'm not going to say blacks are scared. I'm not going to say that. But the reality is when raza move, every single one of them is expected to move with a weapon and use that weapon. And during a riot, any Mexican noticed not participating, he's going to get hit. The raza will whack him. Now, I told a story years ago about a handball court. And I was in the discussion, me and a Kumi. Somebody assigned this dude to speak for the Kumis. The Kumis assigned someone for me to engage with verbally. We had a conversation, and he spoke from a place of arrogance and ignorance because he said Y'all ain't got the numbers anyways. At the time, there was probably 120 of us, 120 Southerners on the yard. There was probably 500 blacks, right? So he said, y'all ain't got the numbers anyways. I said, you believe that? And he says, yeah. I said, well, there's about 100 of us on the yard right now. 100 of us are going to bring out knives. I said, there's probably 500 you guys on the yard. Maybe 100 you guys bring out knives. I said, the fucking numbers are equal. I said, you want to do this? We could do this. I don't know what message he took back, but...
Well, I mean, that still doesn't make it equal. Because if 100 Southsiders have knives and 100 blacks have knives, and there's still 400 blacks without knives, then that's still 500 to 100. And 100 on 100 with weapons. And this is just a misnomer, a fallacy that blacks do not carry knives. I know some very violent blacks, they're in prison, who stay with their weapon and who are always prepared to use their weapon, particularly against another race. That's it. Yes, the Southsiders carry a lot of weapons. For the most part, they're forced to do so. This whole thing that they are innately predisposed to violence is fallacious. They are not. No particular group is. They have a set of orders that they must follow. And as he said, if they don't follow it, they get whacked. So a lot of them are carrying weapons and using them out of fear of their own, of what will happen if they do not. It's not because of their personal hatred towards black people or because of their personal ethics that they follow. The edicts that rule their own life. No. They do it because it is forced upon them. They do not do it because I'm just a warrior, I'm just a strong dude. Some of them, of course. But most of them, their hand are forced, which is why many of them are dropping out now, going to S&Y yards, because they don't want to be forced to do this stuff. It's not in them to do it. It's not just in them. Yeah, they may be taught that. It may be bred into them growing up, but inborn, no sir. It's a learned behavior. And the blacks are just too disunified to really learn these lessons. That's a conversation that I have with my people, and I've been having with my people behind the scenes. I'll have those conversations with my people and my people only, not here on YouTube and not here on the internet, particularly with everything that's going on with the black people in Los Angeles trying to come together, which will then spread throughout the world. The government, the opposition's biggest fear, the black man uniting. I'm not going to spoil it by trying to respond here on YouTube about some nonsense. Yes, the Southsiders are a strong group in prison. Others are as well. There are many black factions that are very strong in prison. Again, the problem, is just disunity. The problem that plagues the black community for generations, that has plagued the black community for generations. Nat Turner's Freedom March, his freedom movement, was spoiled there during the rebellion. Was it August of 1831 when Nat Turner went on his freedom escapade? And it was foiled by disunity. In fact, every black organization, its dysfunction and ultimate demise can be traced back to jealousy and disunity. And once this is cleared up amongst the people, there will be hell to pay for everything that has been done to us when we were disunified. The powers that be know this, which is why they go to great measures to keep us separated. They understand that the moment these people get it together and come together and the light goes off in their head, we are in trouble. So they do all that they can to keep the black man separated. But it's not their fault that we remain so. It is ours. I'm going to get into that in my other video, though. Let's get back to it.
But the issue died. Now, Nate 916 did a video on that handball court issue. The issue had nothing to do with Crips, Bloods, anybody else. The incident started over some Crips going to the handball court. We knew nothing about us supposedly sharing with the Kumis, and the Crips and Kumis don't even get along. So when the Crips showed up, it created some tension. There were talks. You can go back to Nate 916, Nate Dogg 916, and see his video where he says, yeah, it was on the Kumis to get off. The day they were supposed to get off, I was out there that day. I told the story. You can go look it up. I don't think they didn't act out of fear. It's they never used the handball court. And the discussions that they had with whoever they had them with about that handball court were dudes that couldn't be on that yard. That was prior to Southerners, real Southerners hitting that facility and functioning there, you know. So this has been a thing that's been known amongst the population in California prisons is there are blacks that are very dangerous.
People are living paycheck to paycheck.
America shouldn't be like this. I don't think Jackie Rosen can fix this.
There are blacks that will use a weapon. However, they're not the same as far as when it's time to roll, every single one of them is going to bring a knife out and use it. And that's what you hear out of this man right now. He's saying the same thing, and it's not that they're punks. They'll get down with somebody, but when it comes to bringing that steel out, it's a different thing.
Games. We can talk stuff. DC got to go against Ohio Black. DC got to go against Chicago. Chicago got to go against New York. But when it come down to Mexican, ain't nobody rolling against them. Because you know, when them 7-8 soldiers come, them 7-8 soldiers come to put in the work. And you might have 2 or 3 blacks that are willing to go all the way. Because a lot of us ain't got a natural life sentence. And a lot of us ain't never actually put in work that gunplay. I mean, with their steel. So when they get up in there, we get scared. We never go against the essays. We are extremely scared of them, and we know they're well-tuned machines. We know they take care of their business. They work out, they train, they got a protocol, they stick together. We don't.
Before Dub say something, let me say something to that shit. This guy, he said we are extremely. Where is he from? Where did he do time at? What is he talking about? He said we don't go against the essays. We are extremely scared of them because we know that they play with them things and they work out and they train. Yeah, I don't know where you from, bro. And again, this is not bravado on my part. This is me not just here just defending black people. I'm just speaking facts. The history speaks for itself. Here where I'm from, we are unafraid. We are not extremely afraid of the Mexicans. We are not afraid of them at all, evidenced by the fact that there have been many wars with the Mexicans on the street. Nearly every black gang ended up beefing with a nearby Mexican gang. And in prison and in a county jail, there is knife play on both parts, on both sides, and there are riots constantly. He said that they never get into it with the essays out there where he from. So He talking about something else. That something I don't know about. Because where I'm from, we get into it with them all the time. We have riots with them all day. I've told you this. The county jail was going up nonstop. Riot after riot after riot. At first, yes, the Southsiders were the aggressors because they had got the word to start taking off on us, to start having these riots, to start attacking blacks. But all that shit began to change, as I explained. We became the aggressors. And it has continued to this day, right now. There are constant riots in the Los Angeles County Jail and in Wayside, constant beefs on the street, and constant turmoil inside a prison with the different races. No blacks are in there bow down or kowtowing to anyone. These are some very strong dudes, bro. These black dudes are strong. It only comes down to a lack of unity and a lack of self-love. A lack of race pride and race love. That's what it comes down to with black people. Once we establish that and see the others as our opposition instead of one another, this is how they can unify and come together against another force, because they love each other and then see the other force as the opposition. We don't do that. We constantly see one another as the opposition. And once that is rectified, and it will be, I believe in my lifetime, then and only then will we get our respect and get our freedom. I don't know who this dude is. I don't know where you're from. I don't know what you're talking about. He ain't speaking for us. He's not speaking for all the blacks. He's not speaking for no blacks in California, because we're not afraid. I don't know where he's from. I don't know where he did this time, man.
I don't know. I can't. He's speaking for himself and maybe people who he's had open conversations with in the feds. The feds are different than the state. I'm not gonna co-sign that blacks are afraid of Mexicans. I do agree with what he's saying, that blacks know when the Mexicans are gonna move, they're gonna come with straps. They're coming with knives, and they're not afraid of the gunners. The cops are not even on their mind. You know, when you're gonna go do something, you do think about it the day before. But when you hit that yard, you get tunnel vision, Holmes. And you get anger. You get anger at this right here is happening because somebody fucked up. Somewhere along the line, communication fell apart, and now we gotta fucking do this. Fuck them. And you could be mad at your own people. Fuck these dudes, man. These motherfuckers don't know how to fucking communicate, and now we all gotta do this, but let's go. Let's do it.
When we found you, you were nothing. We have given you everything. This is a role.
You know? This is powerful, but it's very controversial because the words he's using. When he says blacks are extremely afraid, I don't believe that. There may be some, there may be some. But it's just, they're raza, it's ingrained in them. I've talked about in the build-up to the.
There are no blacks that are extremely afraid. There are none. For any black that is extremely afraid of a Mexican, he's just afraid of anyone. He's extremely afraid of the whites. He's extremely afraid of the other blacks. He's extremely afraid of his gang. He's extremely afraid of the police. He's just afraid.
The riot in Pelican Bay, there were, because of the Aztec, Mexica, indigenous roots that we have, there's, I don't want to say an indoctrination, but it's the best word. Through our schooling, we learned that our ancestors, the warriors in our ancestry, they believed that it was a wonderful thing to die in battle. And when you're in there, it gets ingrained in you. And I remember the day before the riot in Pelican Bay, somebody that I was really close to saying, tomorrow's a good day to die. He got a life sentence. He's going to go put in work, and he knows if he gets killed on that yard by a cop, he goes down in history. So many people know Sharky's name from that riot because the COs took his life. He was right there in the thick of the battle. You can see him. You can see him rushing into a crowd of blacks, and then the cops shoot him right here. It's understood. He knew. Everyone knew that day. And every time you engage behind those walls in California, I don't know about these other states, but in California, every tower has a Mini 14. That day, there was 3 officers, 2 officers and a sergeant that went up into that central tower with Mini 14s, and they fucking shot them things. They shot 15 people that day, 14 of them being Mexican or raza, 1 being black. They knew the riot was going to happen, and they said, let's have some target practice then.
Well, 14 Mexicans got shot because they're the ones that kicked off the riot. The blacks were caught slipping. We all know this. Let's not rehash the Pelican Bay riot. They were the aggressors. We can all agree to that. They had weapons. They were prepared. The blacks were not. We've been over this. So since they were attacking the blacks with the weapons, that's why the police were shooting at them. And sure, I'm sure some Southsiders going to battle, going to war, not concerned about the police, not concerned about being unalive, but not all of them. They're human. They have feelings like every fucking, but they're not robots. They want to go home too. That's why some of them are dropping out. They don't want to be gunned down by the gun tower. Hell, yeah, they are thinking about the gun tower when they over there putting in their work. It's just not stopping them from doing what they have to do. But I'm sure they're hoping, I hope I don't get shot. What the hell, they not human? They don't care about their life? Yes, it's okay to die in battle. That's how I like to be taken out. But you want to still preserve yourself as much as possible, for one. Secondly, blacks are no different. When blacks attack with weapons, they too are not thinking about the gun tower. Blacks use weapons all the time in prison. The problem is we just use them against one another. But when a black is attacking another black, when a Hoover is attacking a 60 or a 60 is attacking a Hoover, when a Blood is attacking a Crip, they're not thinking about the gun tower either. When it's a black on black riot, these different sections clash and weapons are involved. They are not thinking about the gun towers either. They're prepared to die for their cause, like anybody else.
It's a different mindset. It isn't instilled in the blacks to be willing to die on the prison yard. Like he said, there's a lot of people that are going to say, man, I'm trying to go home, man. That doesn't mean they're a punk. Kind of means their priorities are straight. But those priorities...
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
We asked working Americans.
Don't work in prison. If you're a raza and you think like that, you're going to wind up with holes punched in you. Let's see a little bit more.
Ohio don't like Michigan. Michigan don't like New York. New York don't like Chicago. New Jersey don't like Texas. They don't do that. If you come in, you're a solid Mexican, you're down with them. Now, if you're on the West Coast, it might be a different thing because you got Sereno, the Northerner, the MAs. But when they just in the system, in the Midwest, they rolling together, and they rolling hard, and they rolling deep. We, as much, are afraid of the Mexican gangs. Peace out.
So there he goes. That's his point of view. That's his belief, and you know that's his belief based on his 20 years in the feds.
Fuck his 20
There's going to be a
years.
lot of blacks that are going to be mad at me for reacting to this, and that's fine. I didn't say, and I don't believe that all blacks are extremely afraid or even afraid, period. I think it's just a different mindset. I don't know the black mindset, and maybe Cartoon, Chill from 16 to Life, Hoodie from the Hood, maybe they could do a video and they can say how blacks are raised.
No, Damian Porter's gonna do this damn video, Dubs. Me, damn it.
In the hood, as far as is it part of their program where they have an understanding at a very young age they're gonna go to the joint and they're gonna put in work, or is that just not thought of until they start going to jail? The indoctrination process, the utilization of our ancestry and our warrior ancestry to have a certain mindset, mind state, and a kind of a bloodlust. Do they have the same thing? The fact that I can only say on the southern side, when people get involved in certain things, there is an extreme amount of arrogance that is bred into you. I don't know. Do the blacks have that same type of indoctrination and mindset and schooling to where they teach their people to believe they are the baddest motherfucker on that yard by themselves?
Well, I can answer that. The answer is yes, Dubs. Actually, growing up, we too have indoctrinations. Yes, we know that going into prison yards, I was taught as a child. I heard war stories growing up from my uncles and such, and the big homies about the things that were transpiring behind those walls. And they were telling me then that should I ever go, and telling the young people around me that you must be prepared. You must learn how to make a weapon and always be prepared to use the weapon. And you may not come home. You may stop somebody else from coming home. But the thing is, the indoctrination was more towards one another. Again, it was more towards you go in there, you might have to stab your enemy. But the enemy was always another black. So we was not bred to go in there and be racist and look to stab other races and be prepared to unalive other races and all that just because they're from another race. It's just more so protect yourself from whomever, blacks, another race, whatever. So we wasn't necessarily taught, again, to unify once we got into prison. This is more of a self-learned behavior that blacks are coming to this conclusion that we need to unify. Behind the walls and beyond, if we are to ever experience true success and freedom in this racist ass country. But, Dubs is saying here that the Southsiders have a particular bloodlust because they were and are indoctrinated from a young age to be ready once they hit prison to use a weapon and to be willing to die for the cause. And he's saying, I don't know if the blacks, were taught this. I don't think that the Southsiders have a particular bloodlust. It's a more taught behavior. It's a more learned behavior. It's more of an indoctrination. This is what you have to do or else. Them doing it on their own naturally, some will, some would not. If the blacks had that same sort of structure where we were forced to carry weapons and carry out certain orders, then we would do it as well. But we are just too disunified. Blacks just need to be more organized on every level. Period. That's it. That's what it all comes down to, brothers, is being unified. But as long as we hate ourselves, we will never be able to unify. Because as long as we hate ourselves, we're going to hate our brother. We're going to hate the way he looks, the way he acts, the way he talks. Because we hate ourselves. But again, this is a conversation that I'm going to have with my people and my people only. It's not for you to. This shit is about to get serious out here. This shit ain't for you. This shit is serious. But to answer the question, no, we are not afraid of anyone. Yes, we are taught from a young age as well. We are too indoctrinated with the fact that there may need to be a propensity for violence when entering prison. And so that you may have to adapt to that sort of mentality early on. Again, the problem is the people that are teaching this to us as we are growing up, though they may mention the Mexicans, you always got to watch the Mexicans. They always got knives. You know, they're sneaky, man. Don't trust them. We may hear that, but for the most part, they're saying, you know, when you're carrying knives, man, you got to be ready, man, for this dude and that dude, this set and that set. And they're talking about a black set and a black dude. Preparing us for war and violence against one another only. Genocide.
Do they teach them to break down when they get in a cell, immediately break down the locker or the bunk or the desk, make you something nice, have it ready, and be willing to die and kill with that damn thing in your hand? I don't know. But as far as Raza, that's the reality. I'm ready for all the hate that's gonna come with this, and somehow I'm gonna be racist to some people for reacting to a black man's video, speaking from his experience. Do I agree that blacks are afraid of Mexicans? No. Do I agree? Do I believe that they respect the way Mexicans move? I think so. I think anyone who has been to battle is always going to respect the potential of their adversary. If you don't, you will wind up a victim. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
Dub say he ready for the hate. He knows it's coming towards his way. No hate coming towards Dub's way from me, from the big fella. As I said, as I alluded to early on, I didn't think that he had said anything wrong, and that's been confirmed. Watching the entire video, Dubs didn't say anything wrong as far as I'm concerned. In fact, he made it clear. And again, right there, do I think that all blacks are afraid of Mexicans? No. So he's really towing a line and trying to, make sure that he doesn't offend anyone. So as far as I'm concerned, just my opinion, Dubs didn't say anything wrong, didn't do anything wrong in this video. Again, you guys may have an issue with the fact that he's just reacting to this and speaking on a black dude. It may feel like that Dubs is in glee. It's in some sort of I told you so mode. Look, even the black is saying that y'all are afraid of us. And so he wants to play this video to, ruffle some feathers. You may be upset about that. You have to ask Dubs why he did the video himself. I don't know why he did the video, but he didn't say anything wrong in the video. He didn't do anything wrong. This black dude again. I don't know where he's from, and I don't give a damn. But where I'm from, we are unafraid of the Mexicans. We take off on the Southsiders. We stab Southsiders. We unalive Southsiders on the street and in prison, bro. And it goes both ways, obviously. Now, the Southsiders are a formidable group there in prison, mostly because they are organized. That's what it comes down to. They have unity. Every group needs it to prevail. And if you don't have it, you will not prevail. The blacks don't have it. We have not been prevailing. They do have it. And that's what it boils down to. I'm not afraid of the Southsiders, but I do approach with caution, realizing that my life could hang in the balance because of their unity and their willingness to use a weapon. But I approach anyone and everyone with caution. I don't underestimate anyone. I approach every black with caution because they too are willing to use weapons and die for what they believe in. But I'm not going to sit here and pull any punches and pretend that the Southsiders are some joke behind that wall. No, there are some blacks who are going to take extreme precautions when dealing with the Southsiders, knowing that if it goes up, there's going to be weapons involved. It's going to be bloody. So you can say that some blacks, I'm not going to say are afraid, because when it comes to it, it's going to be what it's going to be. But some may be willing to let them get away with more things than they should. Some are willing to sacrifice their people to avoid a riot with the Southsiders. This has happened. Now again, the Southsiders, yes, they move as a unit. They carry weapons and they will use them behind those walls. Yeah, you better be careful. Extremely afraid? No, sir. You didn't went to prison for unaliving a black man for your gang, or a robbery, or beating on a woman, or stabbing someone. You're a violent person. You're a violent man. And you're going to get to prison and be afraid, be extremely afraid? You wasn't scared on the street. When you committed the crime that got you in prison, you was big, bad, and tough. In the household, you got your wife thinking you're tough. When you put your hands on her, you're coward. But then you want to go to prison and talk about you afraid of somebody? It's too late now to get scared. You already in jail. You already in the pen. The hell? This dude is crazy, man. This dude is weird. Again, I don't know who he is. I don't know where he's from. I don't care. Where I'm from, we are not afraid. Yes, I personally respect the Southsiders. I just know enough to do so. I've seen enough. They move as a unit and they will put you down. They put in work. They send a word and it's going up. It's admirable because the blacks don't have that sort of unity. But when we do get it, hell, I'm afraid of what the black man is going to accomplish here on the planet Earth. Well, that's my video for right now, man. Shout out to Dubs, man. Y'all go check out Dubs' video. Check out his channel if y'all have not. Channel's called Dubs. That's my partner, my childhood friend from YA, man. And again, I didn't see anything that he said wrong. And the black dude, I don't know what his point was. I guess he was just trying to say that blacks were not unified there in prison. DC blacks going against Chicago going against New York, as he was explaining. And so we're so fractured that he said that the Southsiders are together and they come together as one no matter where they're from once they hit the joint. And the blacks don't do this. And this separation causes blacks to be afraid of their unification. That's essentially what he was saying. Whatever reason. And wherever he's from, shout out to the brother. He's just explaining from his point of view, like Dub said, or his experience there in the federal penitentiary, whichever one he was in. I don't know. But I can only speak to my experience and what I've known and seen all of my life. Behind those walls and beyond, here on the street, blacks are unafraid. The only problem is disunification. And once we rectify that problem, we will satisfy some black people's insatiable appetite for retribution. I'll be in one of them. I'll be back in a minute today to talk about these peace talks, so-called peace talks, peace walks that transpired there in Los Angeles a few weeks ago. Few people had something to say about that, and everything that they had to say was negative. Well, I'm about to say what I have to say about it. And I don't care if I hurt someone's feelings, or who wants to deal with it outside of YouTube, because this is serious. The freedom of my people is serious, and we're going to have to purge these people who want to poison the community with their negative commentary regarding peace amongst the brothers. Purge them. In the meantime, stay free, people.